Let me I'll start like with sort of a big myth. And this is like the goal of my book really is to bust the biggest of all myths, I think, when it comes to behavior change, which is that, if you just sort of read the right book with its single recipe for change, whether it's about how to build a lasting habit in that particular book, or how to set big audacious goals and then break them down. Like if you just use that one technique, that perfect solution, you will achieve change. And what drives me nuts about that isn't that some of those things, some of those techniques actually can be really helpful for people. There's science supporting many different strategies that are out there. But what my research has pointed to over the last roughly 20 years is that it depends on what the problem is, what the solution is.
Right.
And like as an engineer, this is like blindingly obvious, right? You don't try to erect a tower and in an environment where you don't understand, like how hard is the soil, right? Like what am I up against? Will there be wind resistance that's going to try to blow this over? Like you get that you have to understand what is working against you, but so often behavior change is, or behavior change solutions that are offered up in self-help bestsellers are agnostic to the challenge, and solutions only work if they actually match the problem.
Right.
So that's a big theme of my book. Like, there's lots of different ideas and insights from science that I bring to bear, but I try to clarify, if the reason you're not taking your medication is you keep forgetting, it's a different solution than the reason you're not taking it is the side effects are unpleasant.
Yeah.
And we need to solve those problems in different ways and look to different scientific techniques to figure that out. And so it drives me nuts that there's these one-size-fits-all approaches that are, people, and then people are frustrated when it doesn't work for them.
Right.
But and organizations too will sort of go to that same place of saying, oh, let's slap this solution on. We think this will change behavior. And it worked in this other setting, but the other setting, the problem was totally different. It wasn't a self-confidence problem, or it wasn't a problem that like productivity was slow because there are abstract goals. It was a different problem. So we have to understand what we're up against to solve for it.
You said if you're an engineer, this stuff would be bleedingly obvious. And that immediately took me to this metaphor, which is if you're trying to move, and by the way, this is the subtitle of your new book, if you're trying to move from here to where you want to be, really you're building a bridge. And there's not just one type of bridge. There are tens or hundreds of different types of bridges because you're crossing different types of terrain, different gaps. I mean, some are single span bridges.
Absolutely.
Some have a huge arc, some are long, some go for miles. Different bridges are required to get from A to B depending on what's in the middle.
Oh, I love that. I wish you'd given me that before I finished the book. I love that.
Hey, it's MBS here. Look, my podcast is 2 Pages with MBS. It is the podcast where brilliant people read the best 2 pages from a favorite book, a book that has moved them, a book that has shaped them. And then we have a really good discussion about the 2 pages they've read. If you're looking for insights about change, about philosophy, about society, this might be the podcast you've been looking for. Available anywhere you listen to a podcast.